Many support players ruin the lane equilibrium just by taking aggro on creeps without noticing, and then they don't even do anything to fix it. This puts the core in a really bad lane position, which allows them to make so many mistakes. Neutral camps solve so many problems in the laning stage that are overlooked. A good pull can make your lane, while a bad pull can break your lane. In this video, I'm going to share a few steps that you can keep in mind while pulling neutral camps to always get the benefits of them. What are the benefits of pulling neutral camps? To understand this completely, let's look at how we limit our laning stage just because we don't pay enough attention to blocking and pulling neutral camps. Witch Doctor is struggling to fight with Rubik even though the Witch Doctor should be winning the trade. The biggest reason is that Rubik is in a very safe position. He is standing in an open space where he can see the Witch Doctor coming towards him, and even if Witch Doctor uses his spells, Rubik will simply walk into his tower. If Witch Doctor half pulls the small camp, Dire will have to play the lane close to Radiant's tower. With that, Rubik will be forced to play in a closed space around trees, and he cannot even run to his tower quickly. Keeping the creep wave close to your tower allows you to punish enemy heroes. Not only that, your carry can also farm safely near his tower, and it also reduces the risk of your carry dying randomly in the lane. Because the wave is so close to Dire's tower, they can easily go aggressive on Radiant if they find a chance to, because their tower is so far and nobody can instantly TP to help Radiant. I am not saying this wasn't Carry's fault, but if the support helps Carry maintain the wave close to his tower, these mistakes can easily be avoided. The best way to analyze whether I need to pull neutrals or not is by looking at the creep wave. When you have more creeps in the lane, it means the lane will get pushed towards the enemy's side. This is when you want to pull. Communicate with your core that you're going to pull, it is very important. Similarly, when the enemy has more creeps in the lane, that's when you don't want to pull. In case of equal number of creeps, you can pull as well. If the neutral camp isn't stacked, always half pull it. Half pull is when you pull only 2 to 3 creeps to the neutral camp. Since the neutral camps are also 3 in number, it allows you to deny the creeps that you have pulled, and the remaining 1 or 2 creeps that are not pulled walk into the lane, which helps you hold the wave just outside the tower. The purpose of pulling is to deny the enemy's experience and bring the wave closer to your tower, which creates so many opportunities for you. If you pull the entire wave to a small camp, you will not achieve this purpose. This gives you insane experience late in the laning stage, and it also forces the enemy to play close to your tower, which is a really bad position for enemy to be in, and you can easily punish that. The best time for Radiant to half pull is hitting the neutrals when the clock is about to hit 25 or 55 seconds and run to the left side if you're a ranged hero. When you're a melee hero, then hit 1 second earlier at 24 or 54 seconds. And for Dire, it's 20 seconds or 50 seconds if you want to do it on the next wave. Even though it is very obvious, let's use the same method of analyzing whether pulling is required or not. Dire has more creeps in the lane. Of course pull is not required, but Trent has pulled the small camp. Here, he made two mistakes at once. He pulled when it wasn't required and he pulled the entire wave. Because of this, the Dire's wave comes into the Radiant's tower. The tower pushes the wave really fast. Dire's another wave comes into the tower. Now the tower is going to push this wave as well. And then Dire will have the lane close to their tower. The lane was perfectly fine, but because of one unnecessary pull, Dire will have the advantage in the lane. Now Mortha is trying to aggro the wave outside the tower, but while trying to aggro, he ends up in a really bad position. It was Mortha's bad position that got him killed, but this situation would not have come if support knew his job of knowing when to pull and when not to pull. This happens in so many games, that's why learning when to pull and what you can achieve from pulling is important. Here's another game. Using the same method, first of all, look at the creep wave and see what's happening in the lane. Dire has more creeps and the carry is not being pressured. This is the perfect time to half pull. Deny the enemy's experience and bring the wave closer to your tower. Literally, this one move will make you win the lane because when the enemy has to play around your tower, they usually end up in a bad position, and you have a lot of time to pressure them and kill them before they get to their tower. Keeping your creep wave close to your tower has so many advantages that it can impact 3 lanes. which you will further learn in this video. While half pulling and keeping the wave close to your tower has so many advantages, blocking the hard cam as a position 5 support is more important. In this game, CM forgot to block the hard camp and Rubik managed to pull it. Normally, the next wave would have met just outside the Dire's tower, which is the perfect position for Dire. But because of this pull, the lane gets in a very awkward position for Dire, where if they want to farm the creeps, they will have to give up on the safe position and trade with the enemy heroes. Or they will just have to give up on the creeps. All of this situation could have been avoided if position 5 support had blocked the hard camp. Having your neutral camp unblocked is a blessing, and if you don't know how to abuse it, now is the time to learn it. If you're pulling hard camp, you can pull the entire wave because hard camp clears the creep wave. But if you're pulling small camp, you should always half pull it unless the small camp is stacked. In that case, you can fully pull the stacked small camp. Because of this one hard camp pull at 3-minute mark, the Axe is 22 CS while Luna is at 7 CS and the lane is just over. The small camp is stacked. In this case, you can pull the entire creep wave because now the neutrals are more in number than creep wave. The enemy team will have two options when you pull. 1. Give up on the creep experience, which is really bad for them. Second, walk to the pulled small camp and contest the creeps. When the enemy team comes to contest the creeps, they are in a really bad position because the camp is close to your tower. You can communicate with your mid laner or position 4 to teleport and punish the enemy over here. If you are lucky and your teammates are listening, you can easily punish the enemy. Since they are in a position nowhere close to their tower, backing off from this position is really hard. You can bring the number advantage to enemy heroes. If the enemy team even wants to respond to this, they will have to teleport one by one and it will take a lot of time for them to join this fight. With this, you can impact multiple lanes with a single play. When you have blocked the enemy's hard camp and you're half pulling your small camp, you will always have the wave close to your tower. This will allow you to find opportunities for yourself to roam on the map and impact other lanes. 5 minutes onwards, when the night time starts, if you're able to give your carry a decent lane, or you have got a carry that can lane alone for a while, as a position 5, you should use twin gates and gank other lanes. As a hard support, when you use twin gates, you get a position where you can gank the enemy team from behind, which is really hard to dodge and very unexpected. This play would be really easy to make if your soft support has kept the wave close to his tower, but it can even work if the wave is in enemy's tower and you have got the right heroes to dive the enemy. This play can only be enabled when you are properly pulling the neutral camps to bring the wave closer to your tower. Radiant position 5 can place sentry in this area. This sentry is really hard for enemy support to find because he will have to walk behind the tower to find it and it's really easy to kill him if he comes here searching for the sentry. To block hard camp, this spot between trees is really decent because usually people don't check this in their first attempt to unblock the hard camp. There's another place that I personally like a lot, this bottom left corner of the hard camp. Usually, when the enemy puts a sentry behind trees to deward, that sentry won't be able to find your sentry. If they put sentry somewhere on the right side, your sentry will not be in the area as well. One more good thing about this sentry is that if the enemy has a ward placed on your cliff, you can actually treat this cliff like a square and click on all the four corners. You will find the enemy's observer ward if it is placed on the cliff. If you're a position 5 player in Dire and you want to block the hard camp, ask your carry to cut this tree for you if he has a quelling blade and put a sentry in place of that tree. This sentry is really hard to find for enemy position 4. He will have to walk all the way to the small campsite to find this sentry and that position isn't very good for a support player to walk to. Make sure to place sentry after the laning stage has started but before 1 minute mark so the neutrals don't spawn. If you place a sentry here before the lane starts and by any chance enemy support places his sentry on a small camp over here, he will devour your sentry even before the lane meets. To unblock small camp, you can place a sentry over here. It covers the entire camp area. There is another sentry which the enemy team will never be able to find. The problem with this sentry is that it doesn't cover the top and bottom left corner. So if the enemy has a sentry placed in the corner, you will miss it. More than 80% of the games that I watch, Support players are either pulling the small camp to ruin their own lane, or they don't care about the small camp at all and keep playing the lane close to the enemy's tower. Remember to use this simple trick of counting the number of creeps in the lane before pulling. I have linked the Discord server in description. If you have got any Dota related questions, feel free to post them on the Discord and I'll try to help you out. If you have got any feedback, you can let me know in the comments.